We ready? Good evening and welcome to the annual meeting of Melton Borough Council. Evacuation procedure. In the event of having to evacuate the council chamber, please leave by one of the 6 emergency exits around the sides of the chamber. Please assemble at the far side of the front car park nearest to the park entrance. Officers will be on hand to assist persons who require any assistance. Public recording of the meeting. There is legislation that allows the public to film, record, or use social media at a council meeting. This must not be disruptive to the good order of the meeting, nor include any filming or recording of the public seating area. Please switch mobile phones to silent. Microphones. Councillors and officers are reminded to use their microphones when speaking for the benefit of all present. Pastor Neil Swettenham will now offer prayers.
So just before we pray, I would like to express my thanks for this invitation. It's my understanding and my hope that whether we're part of the Christian faith or another faith group or no faith community, each of us is inspired and motivated by a common aim to improve conditions and opportunities for those living in the borough of Melton. And as Melton Vineyard Church, we are responsible for Storehouse Food Bank, for Breathing Space Listening Service, and a number of other community-focused initiatives, and we're tremendously grateful for the partnership that we enjoy with local agencies, including Melton Borough Council. Councillor Hewson, soon to be Mayor Hewson, very soon to be Mayor Hewson, also has had a long and warm connection with Melton Vineyard, and it's my privilege now to be able to pray God's blessing on him and on all of us here. So let's pray. Almighty God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, I thank you that you are at work in the life of each person in this room. I pray your blessing on the councillors, officers, and support staff of Melton Borough Council, and especially on Councillor Hewson as he steps into the role of Mayor. May your spiritual wisdom be evident in all the discussions and decisions of the coming months. May councillors govern with wisdom for the common good, not for personal gain or for the advantage of the few, but for the well-being of all. May they have open minds and listening ears so they might be willing to receive and act on the wise counsel of others. May they have the foresight to consider the needs of future generations as well as the immediate pressures of today. May they have grace to face the unique challenges of this time, insight into the needs of the communities, and the courage and discernment to take bold and effective action. Please, would you use Mayor Hewson and Melton Borough Council to bring peace, prosperity, and hope to Melton and the surrounding area. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Swettenham. Now move on to item 1 on the agenda, apologies for absence. We've received apologies for absence from councillors Evans, Glancy, Pritchett, Stedman, Wilkinson, Illingworth and Higgins. Can any member wishing to give apologies for another member indicate they wish to do so by raising their hand? I think there's everybody else missing. That's 21 present. Yeah. I can therefore confirm that we have 21 members present in the meeting and 7 apologies are noted. Item 2, minutes. To confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 26th of April 2022.
I'm happy to move the minutes on the Blue Order favourite item 2. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Graham.
And I'm very happy to second them, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, any members got any questions on the minutes from last year's meeting? It would appear not, so we can proceed to the vote on that. So all those in agreement with the minutes from last year, please show. Those that were here. If you weren't here last year, you can't. That's yeah, so that's carried. Okay, declarations of interest. I'd like to invite members who wish to make declarations of interest in it. If any members would like to indicate that they have an interest to declare, could they please do so by raising their hand? and other registrable interests in respect of County Councillors Orson and Posnett are taken as being on record for any matters which relate to the Leicestershire County Council. Does anybody else have any declarations? No, there are no other declarations of interest. Okay, item 4, Mayor's announcements. Okay. Right, first of all, I'd just like to say thank you for allowing me to have a year in office here. It's been eventful, shall we say. Been a difficult year with COVID still being around, so lots of events were cancelled. However, we still did quite a few. The first thing I had to do once I was made mayor was to go to Dickinson Morris and make a pork pie. Personally, I think that should be a regular thing every year. The first thing the new mayor does is go make a pork pie. It should be part of the initiation ceremony. Other events I've attended. I've attended 2 events for the Institute of Mechanical Engineers, 3 events for Melton Lions, including starting their swimathon. We attended Beating Retreat at Oakham. We opened the Concord Championships at Long Clawson, and Elaine and I turned on the Christmas lights. We opened the Air Ambulance store and the McCarthy Stone Retirement Village. We attended functions at the cattle market, including the Fat Stock Show before Christmas. I attended a site visit to Holwell Works with Councillor Hewson last week, which was very interesting. I've planted trees outside Parkside and in the country park. Attended civic services in Stamford and Newark. Attended the Rotary Club Charter Dinner at Brooksby. Attended several charity events held by other civic heads. I was invited to be a judge at the Artisan Cheese Awards and the British Pie Awards twice. We went to a barbecue at Mowbray Court. We attended at the DATR for the visit of the Princess Royal about 3 weeks ago. Went to the open day at Peppers, a safe place. And I was once again honoured to represent the borough at the Remembrance Day service and lay the wreath. I attended the Scout St George's Day Parade and then presented prizes at the Cycle Classic. I had the rare opportunity of bestowing the title of Honorary Alderman on Gerald Botterill. I also attended the Beaver Hunt Puppy Show, and on May the 1st, my son did his 22-mile swim for Young Lives versus Cancer, and I'd like to thank members who donated to the excellent cause. The total raised by that event at the moment is £2,963, including gift aid. And finally this week, I eventually got to preside over the staff Christmas lunch. So at least we got it in before we finished. That's a brief summary of my year in office. Okay. Moving on to item 5, election of mayor. To elect the mayor for the period until the annual meeting in 2023. Do we have any nominations? Councillor Chandler.
First of all, my apologies for being late, but I got caught up with some cycle trials in the Vale. Pardon? Did I win? I was pleased to get by them, I'll tell you that much. Mr. Mayor, may I thank you and the Mayoress for your year in office. It's not been an easy one for you, I know, but I think it still has probably passed by far quicker than you thought it would. I think most mayors do say that. Members, invited guests, I feel privileged to have been asked to propose Councillor Alan Hewson and his wife Jane to serve as our Mayor and Mayoress for the ensuing year. 4 years ago, I was involved in discussions as to whether or not we should continue with the role of Mayor or instead be represented by the Chairman of the Council, who would, in our case, be the leader. The cost of funding a Mayor was the reason put forward. Yes, it is a cost to the council, but the goodwill it brings by engaging our local schools, community organisations and the electorate in general, in my opinion, far outweighs any costs. And I would go so far as to say I would like to see a standalone civic service and a civic dinner reinstated. Once something is lost, it's difficult to bring back. I appreciate that COVID has had a devastating effect on the mayoral role with lockdowns and limits on public gatherings. But as the rural capital of food, we must promote the role of mayor in order that the public at large understand what an important part food production plays in the Melton economy. I believe Alan can achieve this. He's a Meltonian through and through, born and bred in the borough, a past student of Brooksby Agricultural College when it was an agricultural college, a former member of Melton Young Farmers Club, where he excelled in stock judging and tug of war. Many of you will remember Alan's farm shop at Eastwell Crossroads, and he is known within the farming community for looking towards the future in farming practice, as for the past 10 years, he has practiced mob grazing and regenerative farming. Since he was 18, Alan has given blood on a regular basis and has donated some 65 pints already. Within the agricultural community, Alan and Jane are known for their work as caseworkers for the Farming Community Network, a charity that supports farmers and country people experiencing difficulties. Farming and land work are extremely stressful occupations. It is acknowledged that farming and agricultural work are the most regulated industries in the United Kingdom. Suicidal rates are high, mainly due to so many farmers working alone, long hours, 15 hours a day being the norm for little or no return. Alan and Jane are committed Christians and both give up their time freely to try and help those in need. With drought conditions now spreading through the Americas and the Ukrainian situation, the immediate future looks far from rosy for those of us involved in the farming industry. Alan and Jane married 20 years ago, both already having families. Jane fostered children and young people, in addition to providing respite, all with Rushcliffe Borough Council and an Anglican agency. Brought up in Bingham, she was the town's first Queen Guide. An active Christian, she headed the first prison fellowship group into Watton Prison. Having said that, she's very much an outdoor person with a love of gardening and animal husbandry. Sorry about this. Matthew O'Callaghan, who works so tirelessly on behalf of the rural economy, staging pie, cheese fairs, etc., in addition to the food fair each autumn, a mayor and mayoress with an understanding of farming and rural life can only strengthen the input necessary to keep Melton Mowbray on the map as a rural capital of food and help Matthew in this respect. Members, I ask you to back my proposal that Councillor Alan Hewson and his wife Jane represent the council as mayor and mayoress for the ensuing year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chandler. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Rawson.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'm very pleased to second Alan to be mayor and Jane, his wife, to be the deputy mayoress. I suddenly couldn't remember quite what the role was then for a moment, didn't know whether it was a consort or a deputy mayoress, but obviously that's helped me there. I've known Alan for a long while, and one of the reasons I've known Alan for a long while is through the National Farmers Union, actually, and but also his farm. I mean, it's just got a wonderful setting, handed on that crossroads. Everyone knows where Alan Hewson lives. You drive past it. When I get to the 40 miles an hour limit, I always slow down, Alan. I know the sign flashes and reminds me, but I always slow down. And I just can't help but look into that farmyard. And I suspect other people are just the same as well. It's got a very traditional look to it. The two wind turbines behind it, in some ways, they broke the, I remember the planning meeting, it came through and one of your near neighbours spoke in favour of it. I won't say his name because that would be unfair, it's not here. And he spoke very admirably, but those two wind turbines have been quite a mark for me. And I never hear a single complaint about them. They're part of the skylight now. Alan, I genuinely believe you're going to make a great mayor, and because you've got a very easy manner to you. You've got a bow tie on tonight. That goes to show a bit of flamboyance, a bit of show. You're going to need that over the next 12 months as well, Alan. And it's going to be great working with you. And I really look forward to a tremendous 12 months. As Peter sadly said, that obviously COVID has had an impact on his 3 years now, I found out tonight, 2 years as deputy and then 1 year as mayoral. We are obviously coming out of that now, and I'm sure you're going to have a massive diary full of many engagements. So, as you know, I'm always here to help. I'm always here to advise. That's if you want to take advice from another farmer or not. I'll leave that one to you, but congratulations to both of you. And I look forward to the coming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rawson. Are there any other nominations? Can we have, with no other nominations, can we have a show of hands for the nomination of Councillor Hewson to become the mayor? Okay, thank you very much, everybody. That is passed. Councillor Hewson is the mayor of the Borough of Melton for the 2022-23 civic year. I will now invite the incoming mayor and consort to the investiture table.
Councillor Hewson will now read and sign the Declaration of Acceptance of Office. Councillor Hewson.
I, Alan Hewson, having been elected to the office of Mayor of Melton Borough Council, declare that I shall take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Councillor Faulkner will now invest Councillor Hewson with the mayoral chain of office. And now Councillor Hewson will present the past mayor's medallion to Councillor Faulkner. And Mrs. Faulkner will place the mayoral chains of office on Mrs. Hewson. And now we have a small gift of thanks.
Yeah, I'll come in.
And perhaps we can show our appreciation to the new mayor of Melton.
Right, I'd now just like to give a few words of thanks for this election, please. Thank you for electing me as Mayor of the Borough of Melton and becoming the municipal year. Thank you to Jane, family, friends and invited guests, both here tonight and at home supporting me in this role. And many of you know I'm a farmer. farmers constantly face many challenges. And in his book, The Resilient Farmer, Doug Avey made a wise comment that if we only bounce back, we just get back to the place we got us in the mess before. So we need to bounce forward to a better place. COVID has hit us hard, but together we can help our communities to bounce forward to the benefit of those who chose us to represent them on the Borough of Melton Council. My charities for the year are Loros and Dove Cottage. I would now like to invite Georgina Sanders from Loros to the lectern to give a small speech. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me? I just want to say thank you so much to Alan and to Jane, who have very generously offered to support Loros and Dove Cottage in their time as Mayor and Mayoress. It was a pleasure to meet Alan and Jane at their farm, and it is a really lovely location, beautiful setting. And it's clear from just spending a short time with Alan and Jane that they are very committed members of their community, and they really enjoy helping others. For those of you that don't know Loros, we are a hospice located close to Leicester. We care for over 2,500 patients every year who are at the end of their life. We look after the patients, their families, their carers, and we do that up until the point that they pass on, but also then we work very closely supporting families and loved ones after that moment has passed. Each year, we need to raise over £6 million to keep our hospice going and to provide that care to our families. So to receive the support of someone like Alan and Jane is incredibly special to us. And we were very excited when Alan contacted us to say that he wanted to support us. I'm just really relieved that you all voted him in, because I think that was going to be a bit awkward if you decided not to do that. So already, Alan has started raising money for Loros. His niece, Rebecca, took part in a bucket collection at Morrison's in Melton Mowbray very recently and raised £140 or thereabouts, just from simply helping customers to pack bags and meeting them at the till. And I know that Alan's got lots of events planned throughout the year, such as his Jubilee event, to start raising money for Loros. So I just want to say, on behalf of Loros and Dove Cottage, thank you so much, Alan, for offering to support us, and we look forward to working with you throughout the year. So congratulations.
Thank you, Georgina. Now, a vote of thanks for the retiring mayor, please.
Mr. Mayor, I have combined with the privilege of proposing a vote of thanks for the retiring mayor, the privilege of being the first member to be able to congratulate you on your election and wishing you and Jane all the best for what I know will be a memorable year. Mr. Mayor, it's in the DNA of all councillors to take the credit for anything, regardless of how much they have contributed to the situation. I am no different. And I was fully prepared to say that the reason for the success of Councillor Peter Faulkner and Elaine's year as our mayor and mayoress was entirely down to the fact that they had very good training as apprentices for 2 years as deputies. If only that was true. They watched their predecessor for over a year, taking all the credit for being mayor whilst doing very little and blaming COVID. Your predecessor had the luxury of conducting council meetings by Zoom, where he could see members waiting to raise points of order and could quietly ignore them and that little yellow hand raised in protestation. You had no such luxury and had to impose the authority we give you in other ways. I hear that the Princess Royal even remarked to you that you had to chair the odd difficult meeting. Peter and Elaine's year in office has been a great success, and so much has been achieved. I noticed that you opened the McCarthy and Stone Retirement Village, where I hope that you were issued with a hard hat, as one of those buildings may be suffering from the fact that I laid a brick there the year before. Your list of events attended is extremely long, and with, of course, the highlight of every mayor, including Remembrance Sunday, for which I prepared you well, as you had so kindly stood in for me on the 2 previous years. Your Christmas Carol concert was such a success and enjoyed by all, of all ages, followed by the staff Christmas lunch in May, which was delicious and great fun, though from my point of view, it did highlight how many new faces there are working for us that I did not recognize. Mr. Mayor, the role of mayor is so important to this borough, and I do have frustrations, as Councillor Chandler has already said, about how easy it is to know the cost of everything and the value of nothing. It is, in my biased opinion, an invaluable outward-looking face of our council. The mayor and mayoress are our ambassadors, and it is so important that they are respected. Peter and Elaine, you were great ambassadors for us, and we are so grateful. And I have no hesitation in proposing a vote of thanks to the retiring mayor, but linking that also to the retiring mayoress, as I know more than anyone how important that unrecognized and unrewarded position is. So thank you, Elaine.
Do we have a seconder, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I would like to second the vote of thanks for the retiring mayor, as well as also like to welcome you, Councillor Hewson, as into the position of mayor, along with your good wife, Elaine, who will be helping you considerably, I'm sure. But yes, back to the retiring mayor. I would heartily like to support everything that Councillor Melise Graham has said, and so I'm seconding this vote of thanks. Councillor Peter Faulkner has actually worked really hard this year amidst extenuating circumstances, such as the pandemic's concerns and the implications of that, the social distancing requirements and the actual waves of the virus itself. Initially, Peter's mayorship was already delayed by a year due to the repeated lockdowns and the practicalities that the previous mayor actually continue for an additional year. So Peter coped very well with this, fulfilling his civic responsibilities most adequately, as well as, of course, running his own business, which could not have been easy under the circumstances. I'd also like to acknowledge his family's support of Peter during this year, specifically Elaine, of course, his wife, who has offered a steady and dedicated support, as well as his son Mark, with that rather spectacular swim the other week of 22 miles, which I thought was actually outstanding, exceptional, and quite amazing. So yes, I would like to thank Peter on behalf of everybody here and myself personally for doing a very good job. Well done, Peter. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. I'll now just read a few of the mayor's announcements. During COVID, the council meetings were made available for all time through the audio-visual system, enabling the community to watch meetings at home and see how the council operates. Given this increased public awareness, I am keen that all members are seen to be taking their responsibilities seriously, treating each other with respect, acting professionally, dressing appropriately, and upholding the highest standards of conduct at all our meetings. The Constitution is a document which sets out how we should conduct our businesses, and I will use this as a tool to reference and take advice from officers during the meeting where appropriate. As Mayor, I commit to presiding over these meetings with integrity, and whilst I recognise that robust debate is a good thing, I feel that ensuring our business is conducted in an effective and professional way is equally as important. I will endeavour to make myself available to any councillor or council staff who have ideas to help Melton Borough Council to work more effectively or to provide a better service for the benefit of our community. Our primary focus should be that our constituents are represented, and I welcome all members' support for this for future meetings. These are some of my aims and prayer for the future of the year together. I have a number of up and coming events. On the 13th of May, I'll be attending a mass rehearsal of the lyrics competition that I've run for the new piece of music at Brownlow Primary School. The 19th of May, the Sanders Senior Living groundbreaking ceremony. The 20th of May, open day for COVID Memorial Garden at the Country Park. The 2nd of June, lighting of the beacon at the Defence Animal Training Regiment. The 3rd of June, that would be the first event of my charities to honour the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. I will be hosting a picnic in the park at the play close near the bandstand. This will be a free entry with a collection for the Mayor's charities. Entertainment by the local band, choirs, school and colleges, and a mini prom style at the end. Melton Band is premiering a piece of specially commissioned music for which the school children have written the lyrics. And on Friday the 3rd of June, between 12 and 4. On the 20th of June, I'll be hosting the Armed Forces flag flying event at Parkside. And on the 24th of June, to meet with the children from Action for Melton, youth form a tour around Parkside. The tour will be hosted by Councillor Graham. Finally, I would like to add that we have so much to be proud of as a community and council. And I'm looking forward to representing the council and the whole of the borough over the coming year. Thank you. And now item 6, the election of Deputy Mayor. So do we have any nominations for Deputy Mayor, please? Councillor Wood.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, members and guests. Councillor Holmes, as a long-serving member of the district, has huge experience of both the council and the borough. Having previously served in this role, I believe she'll be a positive support to the mayor and will no doubt work well in concert with him to represent the borough in a positive way. A keen and positive advocate for the wider borough beyond the town, Councillor Holmes's encyclopedic knowledge of both the borough and its population will no doubt be an asset as she advocates in particular for our rural centres. Enthusiastic, critical, and at times mischievous, I have no doubt she will bring her singular and characteristic energy to the role. As such, I am very pleased to propose her for the role of Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder, please?
Yes, Mr.
Councillor Carr.
I'll keep this sweet, Mr. Mayor. Firstly, congratulations, you coming Mayor, 22-23, all the best for you. Yes, so I'll second Elaine. I've known Elaine for about 20 years now, Elaine, and working with you and becoming a councillor. Yes, so I'm very pleased to second that with Elaine. She'll do a good job with Alan, all the best. Thank you.
Do we have any other nominations, please? No. Can we have a show of hands for the nomination, please? That is unanimous. Thank you. Councillor Holmes is the Deputy Mayor for the period until the 22-23 civic year. We will now proceed with the investiture of the Deputy Mayor and their consort.
Councillor Holmes will now read and sign the Declaration of Acceptance of Office. Councillor Holmes.
I wanted here, didn't I? I, Elaine Holmes, having been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of Melton Borough Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. Do you want me to date it? All right.
Thank you. And Councillor Hewson will now invest Councillor Holmes with the Deputy Mayor chain of office.
Thank you.
And Mrs. Hewson will now invest Mrs. Seston with the Deputy Mayoress chain of office. Again, we have some gifts.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
And again, if we could show our appreciation for the new Deputy Mayor, please.
Can I get my bag, please?
I will now ask the Deputy Mayor to give a thanks for her election.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much, everybody, for giving me the chance to be the Deputy Mayor to Alan. Obviously, I'm delighted that he has become Mayor, and he, in the 3 years that he has become a councillor, I think he has made a real difference. And as you could see, there are many, many things that he's already going to do and has been doing in the background to make this special year, the Platinum Jubilee year, a very special year for Melton and the borough. And if I can help in any way, that's what I'll do. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Now take item 7, notification by the leader of the appointment to the cabinet. Can invite the leader please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations on becoming mayor, and also congratulations, Elaine, on becoming deputy. Actually, you're going to make a great pair. I think it's the first time ever a mayor and a deputy have been next door neighbours. Am I right on that? Yeah. So you won't have far to go to obviously put the world to rights. So, but congratulations to you both. Very much so. Mr. Mayor, as you well know, I did telephone you yesterday and explain that this speech, well, this talk, this, what's it called? The review of the year is going to be a little bit longer than normal. But what it does do, it does show how a small council, I think we are the 7th smallest in the country, can punch well above its weight. And that's exactly what this council has done over the last 12 months. And that's despite the unprecedented challenge of the last couple of years we've faced. The council continues to deliver a phenomenal amount for our residents, and we should all be proud of what we achieve. Whilst the impact of COVID restrictions is thankfully starting to recede, I must start by acknowledging that for at least half the year, COVID was looming large over everything we did. 143 people have died from COVID in Melton. So it is fitting that next week we unveil our COVID memorial in the country park, which will be a tribute both to those who have lost their lives and those who sacrificed so much to keep us safe and well. We cannot forget the fundamental role that this council played in both saving lives and protecting livelihoods, and the wave after wave of business grants and rate relief programs that we have had to administer and distribute. Teams across the council have been under constant pressure, and yet time and time again, they have risen to the challenge. I'm sure all members will once again join with me in thanking them for their service, hard work, and commitment throughout this difficult period. Mr. Mayor, as we've emerged from the pandemic, we have worked hard to support the economic recovery. The Discover Melton website launched last summer was a great success, and through the Food Enterprise Centre, we've established a network of 65 small businesses with access to direct technical support from our food technologists. The recent stockyard launch at the cattle market and associated private sector investment is starting to realise Melton's investment potential. Projects like these reinforce our reputation as the rural capital of food and underpin our developing town centre vision, which we look forward to publishing for consultation shortly. The last year has been huge for the MMDR. You remember just after our last annual meeting, you will recall the County Council published a report confirming their intention to hand back the £15 million housing infrastructure grant, seriously jeopardising the southern section of the road. Through the rapid and coordinated action of this council alongside our MP and over 2,750 local people, the County Council listened and agreed to rethink. Following a significant amount of work over the following months, we have had the fantastic news last November that the County Council had accepted the HIF grant and were committed to delivering the whole road. This was only possible because MBC followed through on its commitments and delivered key policy documents on time, including the developer contributions, SPD, 2 master plans, and a pioneering infrastructure funding agreement. We must not underestimate what a fantastic achievement this was, with our rewards seeing the first stages of construction starting just a few weeks ago. The MMDR has not been our only focus in terms of infrastructure. Following a successful bid to restoring of our railway funds last autumn, we submitted the outline business case to the Department of Transport for improved rail connectivity between Melton and Nottingham. A project made even more important following the recent decision to withdraw the number 19 bus route. On our future cemetery provision, the commission for the specialists required is underway, and a transport study of Bottisford will provide an evidence base to support future infrastructure investment in our largest village. Mr. Mayor, our local plan continues to deliver. With the most homes built in Melton for decades and an enviable 11.6-year housing land supply. The recently confirmed local plan review will enable us to reflect and ensure it continues to meet the needs of our communities for the next 5 years. In the last year, we've also supported 5 neighbourhood plans to adoption, and earlier this year, we're able to support our Statham community by correcting an error and successfully pursuing an appeal through the High Court. Continuing to improve our planning function and strengthening communication and engagement with key stakeholders will remain a top priority for us, and recruitment of our new assistant director and recent investment in planning enforcement will certainly help us on that journey. We have shown in housing management what we can achieve when we focus on improvement. And I was also delighted that our land charges services was shortlisted in the awards for excellence recently, having been under a pressure a year ago. Mr. Mayor, within our corporate strategy, we made finding a sustainable future for our leisure services a key priority. With 2 dilapidating and out-of-date leisure centres, just continuing as we are is neither going to be affordable or acceptable in terms of the service we offer. The pandemic has made things tougher, with a leisure centre only surviving because councils like ours provided huge subsidies during the various lockdowns. Through excellent negotiation and the subsequent 2-year extension to our leisure contracts, we have bought ourselves time. But now we must plan for the future and find a way to secure Melton leisure provision for the next generation. Unlike some of our neighbouring councils, we do not have the reserves to simply self-finance a new leisure centre. Rather, we will need to work closely with our partners to develop a broad funding package that enables us to proceed. We cannot underestimate the financial challenge associated with this. It will not be easy. But we will leave no stone unturned, and I look forward to engaging with all members on this important issue through the coming year. Mr. Mayor, the work we have done with our clinical commissioning group over the last year demonstrates the impact and benefit from effective partnership working. As members will know, securing a second GP surgery is a key priority. And I'm delighted that only yesterday, the CCG has started a consultation on the future of primary care services in our borough. The survey will be open until the 19th of June, and I would encourage all members and residents to send a clear message about what we need for the future. Through our strong partnership, we are making good progress, and I am confident we'll soon hear positive news as we work to establish a destination health and leisure park in Melton. Whilst on leisure, I should highlight the important work our team did supporting Melton Town Football to deliver their new 3G pitch, as well as with Melton Mowbray Tennis Club, leaving in 5 times our own contribution and helping to install new tennis courts at the Sports Village. Physical activity has huge benefits for well-being, and supporting our communities and the most vulnerable within them has always been part of our DNA at Melton. Over the last year, we have once again shown great leadership in this area. We were the first council in the county to make a public pledge to support Afghan refugees fleeing persecution, and the first council to resettle an Afghan family. We continue to support both sponsor households and their Ukrainian guests, playing a key role in helping them resettle. And as you know, some of our members organised a fantastic race night, raising nearly £5,000 to support refugees in Poland. Working alongside our MP, Harborough and Rutland councils, we look forward to joining a welcome event for our Ukrainian friends and their sponsors later this month. Mr. Mayor, we made our modest community grants budget work really hard this year, with 12 organisations supported to deliver a range of initiatives, including community mental health, a crisis cafe, and inclusive sport. Our Jubilee Grants scheme will help 20 organisations deliver a range of activities, including picnics, street parties, fun days, tree planting and bunting, all to support the Queen's Jubilee in June. It's also been fantastic to see our sport and neighbourhood teams able to restart their community outreach programmes, and the establishment of the Fairmead Football League demonstrates our continuing commitment to our priority neighbourhoods. During this year, Mr. Mayor, we will review our aging CCTV TV system and bring forward a business case for investing in a modern, cost-effective system to replace it. Mr. Mayor, the cost of living crisis is a huge concern to us all, with the energy price cap rising by 54% in April, and in inflation expected to reach 10% by the end of the year. We must do all we can to help those who are going to struggle. Once again, we have worked quickly and we're one of the first councils to distribute the government's £150 energy payments, with over 12,700 payments already made, totaling nearly £2 million. More will follow shortly as part of our discretionary support scheme, which is under development. As a council, one of our priorities is to increase engagement with our communities. The new audiovisual system used for the first time at our annual meeting last year continues to enable more and more people to watch democracy in action. We have revamped our parish council liaison meetings and are having constructive conversations about important local issues. And later this year, we will undertake our next borough-wide resident survey to help track our progress. Our elections team have run a number of elections, including the combined county council and PCC election, navigating the COVID restrictions in place at the time. Through by-elections, we've also had the pleasure to welcome a number of new members to the council this year, saying goodbye to some long-standing and respected colleagues in the process. And at the end of this civic year, the council once again will prepare for the borough-wide elections in 2023. We continue to strengthen our organisational effectiveness, adopting a new finance system, moving to a new insourced ICT partnership model, and launching a new council website last September, which now achieves a 100% score for accessibility and puts us on a par with the best performing councils in this area. We remain a disability confident leader and have taken positive steps towards achieving the Gold Award as part of the Armed Forces Covenant. It has also been our pleasure to support 4 Kickstarts placements, the government scheme to support young people into work, and it's fantastic to see a number of those colleagues now taking on permanent roles at the council. Mr. Mayor, we've also adopted a new performance and risk framework, which along with our project management framework achieve good assurance from our auditors, as well as substantial assurance obtained from our COVID response and recovery, the highest of all councils assessed. Our first State of Melton report and debate last October helped shape the budget development process, and some excellent support and challenge through scrutiny helped deliver another balanced budget, and one where we have been able to put substantial funds back into our reserves. We cannot be complacent though, particularly as funding pressures and inflation bear down on us, and through our financial sustainable programme must continue to maintain a sharp progress on making the best use of resource and ensuring they are focused on our priorities. Learning from the pandemic, we adopted our way we work strategy, formalizing our approach to hybrid working. And over the coming year, we will reorganize our office space to support these new arrangements, as well as ensure both officers and members have the right IT equipment to support this new way of working. We will also continue to strengthen our green credentials and are committed to supporting the fantastic Melton in Bloom volunteers Go for Gold Award this year. We have secured £1.2 million in Green Homes grant funding, which is helping numerous low-income families to live in warmer and more comfortable homes. And our recently launched Solar Together campaign will help residents bulk buy solar panels at the lowest possible cost. There is still much to do as we build our strategy to become carbon neutral by 2030. 2 years ago, when we established our housing directorate, we also established our corporate assets team, and they've made excellent progress, putting the building blocks in place for effective management of our assets and making preparations for future development. In the last year, we secured welcome capital receipts by disposing of redundant assets and are investing in our hugely important asset development program to ensure we maximize the value of key sites. I look forward to the option and business case being considered by scrutiny and cabinet later in the year. Mr. Mayor, on housing, the commitments we made 2 years ago continue to deliver significant progress. The investment in the Northgate system has given us far greater ability to manage the condition of our council homes and compliance responsibilities. Our new allocation policy provides far greater clarity on how to access affordable homes, and our new choice-based letting IT system will be going live very soon. We continue to acknowledge the great work done by TFEC over the last years and remain committed to building stronger ties with our tenants, particularly as we prepare for and ensure compliance with the new consumer standards and regulatory framework. Whilst there is still much more to do, the adoption of our new HRA business plan in July this year will be another significant step forward, and our commitment to providing high-quality council homes and landlord services remains absolute, as does our desire to build and acquire new council homes for future tenants. The coming year is likely to be significant for Leicestershire as discussions continue regarding a potential county deal. This, alongside our submission of a second round Levelling Up fund bid and the development of our UK Shared Prosperity Fund investment plan, are important moments for Melton, with the potential to secure much needed investment in our county and borough. I look forward to working with all members and our partners on shaping these plans. We must ensure that through any discussions, the rural voice is heard and not marginalised by louder protestations of need from larger, more urban centres. If rural communities are to remain sustainable, they cannot be taken for granted and must have investment in homes, jobs, and infrastructure in equal measure to larger towns and cities. Rural Leicestershire must receive its fair share, both from government funding and any future county deal. Rural communities must speak with clearer, stronger, and more united voice, and to support this aim, we are already working closely with our rural neighbours in Harborough and Rutland, with whom we share so much in common. As we develop our Levelling Up fund bid, we will establish a joint rural investment strategy and will continue to explore wider opportunities for collaboration which champion the rural economy and increase organisational resilience, building on examples like the Building Control Partnership we have recently entered into. As we can see, Mr. Mayor, there is a huge amount happening, and I want to thank all members and all officers for their hard work and commitment to the people of Melton. We can achieve so much by working together, and with much more do, I look forward to that continuing in the coming year. I'll just take a quick drink, Mr. Mayor, if that's okay. We move on to the announcement of the Cabinet. I'm delighted to announce the membership of the Melton Borough Council Cabinet for the coming year. My Cabinet will continue to provide leadership and public accountability as we work to deliver our corporate strategy and respond to both the challenges and opportunities faced by our communities. We will continue to maintain a 6-person cabinet for the coming year, including myself as leader. We'll also retain 1 cabinet support member. I'm delighted to confirm that Councillor Graham will continue in his role as deputy leader, also retaining the people and communities portfolio. He will continue to oversee our support to Ukrainian refugees, as well as playing a key role in responding to the cost of living crisis. To assist with this, I have asked him to take on responsibility for the Lightbulb Partnership, which utilises disabled facilities grant to help residents to remain safe and well in their homes. Mr. Mayor, having delivered balanced budgets for the last 3 years, that's no mean achievement in these days of savings having to be found, Councillor de Burgh continues to maintain an excellent grip on our resources. Alongside his financial responsibilities, he will also continue to oversee our governance processes and chair our Constitutional Review Working Group. Councillor Freer will continue to lead on climate, access and engagement, and will build on the great work she's already done, providing so much value through our community with the Jubilee grant schemes. She will also continue building our response to the climate change, as well as oversee the adoption of the new waste and resources strategy. Our tremendous housing improvement journey continues under Councillor Brown's leadership, and I look forward to him bringing forward our new HRA business plan later this year to reflect his wider responsibilities, which include homelessness and housing options. I am renaming his portfolio Housing and Landlord Services. With the recent successful Stockyard launch under his belt and consultation shortly due to start on the town centre vision, Councillor Bindloss will continue driving the growth and prosperity agenda and will oversee the submission of our second Levelling Up Fund bid and the UK Shared Prosperity Investment Plan later this year. And Councillor Smith will continue to support Councillor Bindloss as Cabinet Support Member. A copy of my executive scheme of delegation has been made available to all members this evening. My Cabinet and I look forward to working with all members and officers over the coming year. And just to wrap it up, Mr. Mayor, with your permission, I'd just like to wish Councillor Smith a happy birthday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Orson, and thank you that you did actually ring me to actually let me know how long it was going to be. Thank you. Now, item 8, the political balance and allocation of seats to political groups. Invite the monitoring officer to provide a brief introduction to the report. Councillor Orson to propose.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The item 8 of your reports is political balance and allocation of seats. Now, this report seeks approval of the political balance calculation for the council to agree the number of voting places and approve and allocate seats on the relevant committees in accordance with statutory requirements. It also seeks to elect the chairs and vice chairs of committees. In accordance with the legislation, the authority is under a duty to review the allocation of seats to its political groups at the annual meeting of the council. This does not apply to cabinet, licensing committee or other working groups apart from the joint staff working group, as these are exempt from political balance. The corresponding seats and voting places for the council's scrutiny and other standing committees are confirmed in your reports, members, at paragraph 5.1.2. The purpose of the calculation for the allocation of seats ensures that there is proportionality across all formal activities of the council, representing the overall political composition. The current composition is shown in the table at paragraph 5.2.3, with current allocations at 5.2.4. Members should have an Appendix A on their tables, which shows the membership of each committee as informed by the group leaders. I must bring your attention to one amendment on the Audit and Standards Committee. In the substitutes, it lists Councillor Pam Posnett, but it actually should be Councillor Ronan Brown. In addition to the allocation of seats, members are asked to approve the election of chairs and vice chairs to committees as set out in paragraph 5.3.1 and Appendix B. And I believe Appendix B is also on members' desks in front of them tonight. The recommendations for this report are included at paragraph 2 of your report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And I'd ask Councillor Orson to propose, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Happy to move item 8, political balance and allocation of seats to the political groups, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Thank you very much.
Councillor Graham to second.
Mr. Mayor, I'm very happy to second. Thank you very much.
No. I will now open the debate and invite members to raise their hand to indicate whether they wish to speak. No. So I'll now confirm that no members, officers are indicating a request to speak and proceed to a vote. All in favour, please. This is unanimous. Thank you. Item 9. A scheme of delegation and amendments to the Constitution. Monitoring officer to provide a brief introduction to the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report seeks confirmation of the Constitution and the Officer Scheme of Delegation, which includes amendments to the Constitution as detailed in paragraph 5 of your report. The in-year changes that have been made are detailed in the table at 4.2, and the proposed amendments are detailed in paragraphs 5.1 and 5.2. Members should note that there is a typo in paragraph 5.2.4. The word information is to be removed so that it actually reads that larger debts will be included in a report to the Cabinet. It should not be for information. They will be presented to Cabinet for approval. The recommendations again are set out in paragraph 2 of your report. Happy to take any questions, Mr. Mayor.
I'd like to ask Councillor Orson propose, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very happy to move item 9 on the blue order paper, scheme of delegation and amendments to the Constitutions 21, 22, 23, 24. Thank you.
Councillor Graham to second.
Mr. Mayor, I'm very happy to second item 9. Thank
you. Invite any members to raise their hand if they want to indicate to speak, please. No. I'll confirm then that no members or officers are indicating a request to speak and proceed with the vote. Can I have all in favour, please? Thank you. That's unanimous. Now, item 10, programme of meetings for 22-23. Monitoring officer to provide a brief introduction to the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report seeks the approval of the calendar of meetings, which is, I believe, on your desks. It's the A4 sheet of paper for the municipal year 2022-23, which must be approved at our annual council meeting. The calendar of meetings is reviewed each year to ensure compliance with statutory, financial and constitutional obligations, and has taken into account our bank holidays, school holidays and the council meetings of Leicestershire County Council. No changes have been proposed to the current start times of committees. And again, Mr. Mayor, the recommendations are provided at paragraph 2 of your report. So I'm happy to take any questions.
And to propose, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Pleased to move the motion on item 10, programme of meetings 2022/23, 2-1. Thank you.
Second.
I have much pleasure in seconding the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Now invite members to raise their hand if they wish to indicate to speak, please. No. I can confirm that no members or officers are indicating a request to speak and will proceed to the vote. All in favour, please. That's unanimous. Thank you. Item 11, appointment of representatives on outside bodies and working groups. Monitoring officer to provide a brief introduction to the report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You'll be pleased to hear this is my last report of the evening. This report requests members to note the appointments in column A of Appendix A, which have been designated according to roles such as portfolio holder or ward member, and appoint representatives to serve on outside bodies and working groups as listed in the appendix, which was also circulated prior to this meeting. Members are reminded that any appointments to outside bodies should be noted on their register of interest, and a reminder will be sent in the coming week. Officers were notified of the representatives from the Conservative group, and no other nominations or notifications were received. Again, the recommendations are contained in paragraph 2 of your reports. I'm happy to take any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Could I have a proposer, please, for Councillor Orton?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very pleased to move item 11 on the blue order paper, appointment of representatives on outside bodies and working groups 2122.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have much pleasure in seconding everything in item 11. Thank you.
Any members wishing to raise a hand indicate if they want to speak, please. Councillor Chandler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Grantham Canal Partnership, it says the ward member. Actually, it goes through Bottisford and Clawson, Hose, Harby, Stathern, whatever they call that ward. And we are currently in discussion with the Grantham, well, with the Canals and River Trust over the canal leaching water at Musson. And I know it's equally so, there's problems at Red Mile as well. So I think it does need to be the ward councillors, not the ward councillor in the singular. Thank you.
We can just check with Councillor Orson and Councillor Graham if they're happy to check with the change.
Yeah, very happy to do that change. Obviously, you have 2 representatives down what's called Long Clawson ward, and we have 2 representatives at Bottisford as well. So yeah, we can certainly look at that and happy to look at a change. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, my leader is happy. I am also. Thank you.
Any other members wishing to speak, please? No. Thank you. If no more members, then we will proceed with the vote, please. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. Before I close the meeting, it is a great pleasure that the Mayoress and I invite you to celebrate this mayor-making evening by joining us for a buffet and drinks at the back of the chamber. Once the meeting is closed, could attendees in the public gallery move to the side so that caretakers can remove the seating, please. With no further business, I declare the meeting closed.
Members, ladies and gentlemen, can I please ask you to stand for the Mayor of Melton, Councillor Alan Hewson.